Let's get this party started.
Coverage tight, spotlight on tomorrow. Who you with? Trust, you'll be delighted that you followed. At Phirst Contention, the invention. We debate sports, of course we should mention. What's that? We cover games, we don't play suspensions. We 100, so if your star's missing, we let you know your squad surely gone fishing. We never fish though, no, not our motto. We sport on deals, on court, on fields. The victors, the vengeance, the legends, latest invention. Phirst Contention.
I said, hola, senors and senoritas. Welcome to another episode of Phirst Contention, where debts will be paid. I am your boy, Marvin S. Banks, here with T.Y. Sosina.
What's going on, folks? Sosina here. Salutations. Good show coming up. What up, Steve? What's going on, bro?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm striving higher every day, and I'm happy that the Badgers lost. We're going to talk about that later. Back to you guys.
Such a hater.
Teaser. Badgers go down to the Duke Blue Devils 68-63 in the NCAA championship game. I mean, Marvin, just kind of touch on this championship game. What are some things that went right, some things that went wrong within this game?
Well, it was definitely a great game. It was definitely an entertaining game. A lot of people had their restraints about Wisconsin being in Kentucky, which we'll touch on a little bit later. To have a Wisconsin-Duke matchup, everybody wants to see Kentucky-Duke, but Wisconsin and Duke still played a very great game. Some of the things that definitely went wrong with the Badgers is they lost to a dude named Grayson. Grayson Allen, the freshman, had a field day, had a coming out party, but he wasn't the only freshman that had another field day. Tyus Jones killed the Badgers again. This was the second time he did it. First time it was in Madison, this time in Indiana. The Badgers were unable to contain the freshman, but there were definitely some questionable calls late down the stretch of the game, some questionable foul calls, the tip ball by Justice Winslow. The Badgers were up by 9, roughly about 9 minutes ago, and it just seems that everything just fell. I definitely believe that the Badgers lost it more than Duke won, but props has to be given to Duke. Coach K with his 5th title. Like I said, Jahlil Okafor didn't really have a dominating game, but the freshmen of Grayson and Tyus Jones stepped up to be the Badger killers.
I mean, let's pick up where you left off in terms of the officiating and the freshmen. Tyus and Grayson Allen did their thing.
They did. They definitely did.
Justice and Jahlil Okafor. Okafor obviously thought to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft next season, but they weren't up to snuff. And Winslow, he looked out of control at times. There was a charging call where he passed the ball back out. Looked like that should have been called. You touched on the tip ball out of bounds. Don't forget where he dribbled down the baseline and
stepped out of bounds.
Bird's eye view, you can see that foot was out of bounds.
Led to a Tyus 3.
But again, let's take this stance of the freshmen that Duke have. You know, everyone likes to talk about the freshmen in Kentucky versus, the seniors at Wisconsin. 4 Wisconsin seniors put up 28 points, only shot 37%. Whereas Duke's freshmen, 4 of them put up 60 points, shooting 51%. And so in terms of what went right, the freshmen versus the seniors thing, but I mean, you're 2 big freshmen for Duke, and Jahlil and Justice. I've seen better days. 5 of 9 for Okafor with only 10 points. Missed a lot of the game sitting on the bench. And then Winslow, again, looked out of control at times, only 3 for 9 with 11 points.
And what Coach K said at halftime, he said that we had to get them in foul trouble at halftime. And it just seems that coming out of halftime, Wisconsin was just in foul trouble. Coming from a team that normally doesn't foul, that doesn't turn the ball over. It just seems that Coach K used some of the Zen masters of Phil Jackson and Pat Riley to get into the official's head to get some of his calls his way. Because as you said, Winslow looked out of control sometimes. That charge call that looked like should have been a charge. He had a couple of other fouls that could have been called that I feel like they should have been called, but they wasn't. But at the end of the day, Duke did what they had to do. Tyus put the Blue Devils on his back, led it to a championship. But Shed, what do you have over there to say over there in Shed's block? I know you was happy to see Duke win and the Badgers lose, but then again, you also did have Duke lose in the first round. But we'll save that for another story.
Yeah, you can talk about that. I mean, I made an emotional pick. I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched a lick of basketball all year. I usually don't until the March Madness, so everything is emotional.
It
If
shows.
I don't like the team, I'm not going to pick you to win. So basically, that's what I did. And then the two teams that I don't like the most end up in the national championship. How the world does that happen? I was really pissed off that Wisconsin beat Kentucky, and I'm not going to lie, I was really so mad that I didn't even watch the national championship just because I don't want to see Duke and Wisconsin play. But let me tell you, man, I am so happy that the Badgers lost because better dead than red, all the sayings that come with that. I'm a Gopher at heart, so I don't care about anything with the Badgers. I love the Big Ten, except for the Badgers, so I'm glad that they went down. Obviously, it was a good game that I didn't get to watch, but hey, I'm glad that Duke pulled it off. Congrats to Coach K getting that 5th title. And if you looked at Coach Ryan after the game, it was kind of funny. I saw some of his comments just talking about, he doesn't like the one and done players. He's trying to do it his way, and the refs. And it just seems like he was just letting off a lot of steam. And I was just really happy and laughing inside because, look at this guy. He's really pissed off that he lost. Boo-hoo, go cry back to Madison, Wisconsin, and all you Badger fans going to be crying together. So, boo to you.
Tyus.
Well, thanks a lot for that, Steve. Don't forget that your wife is from Madison. Your favorite LBs are from Milwaukee.
That's unfortunate.
And that you still don't have a title underneath your belt neither. But let's talk about Kentucky, though. I think that we had a wager on this show that Wisconsin was going to beat Kentucky. Ty Sosina, is there something that you would like to say or do?
Sosina always pays his debts. It's all there.
Thank you very much, sir. See, even when I still lose, I still win at the same time, too, as well. But let's move on to something different. MLB baseball season is here, ladies and gentlemen. Cubs and Cardinals kicked it off a couple of days ago, but we didn't get a chance to do our headlines. So let's make our predictions a little bit later. Ty, who do you have in the World Series? Who do you like this year? Surprise, disappointment? Who do you think is going to take over the championship?
Well, I'm going to start with the headlines. We didn't make our predictions yet, but we did touch on this in the past. I want to watch A-Rod coming back.
The bad guy is back
to
again.
The Empire out east. And this home run stretch that he's doing. 6 more to tie Willie Mays. And again, 10-year contract signed in 2007 for $275 million.
That would be $250 million.
Lord have mercy.
That.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. And if he does that, he'll be 4th all-time the home run list again, tied with Willie Mays.
I'm glad that you brought up the Empire, and it seemed like A-Rod is definitely Darth Vader going back to the Empire. But I'm really interested in some of these off-season moves that a lot of these teams have made. The Padres are getting the Upton brothers, now Melvin Upton, and not BJ, and Justin Upton, and Matt Kemp over there in the outfield. Now I'm definitely interested to see what Seattle can do. They fielded one of the best pitching and defensive teams last year. Now you add someone like Will Myers from the Tampa Bay Rays to come up there to help with hitting. Nelson Cruz up there for hitting. I'm definitely see, but I definitely think the best team in the league so far. And it pains me to say this.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
And it pains me to say this.
He sees us, Marvin. He can see us.
It pains me to say this. It's definitely the Washington Nationals. It's definitely not the St. Louis Cardinals, Steven. The Washington Nationals, the signing of Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, with that pitching staff, with Bryce Harper behind him, hitting from both sides of the plate. I definitely like the Nationals, and I'm going to go with the Mariners to meet in my World Series, and I like the Nationals to take it this year.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I mean, the Nationals, we've been picking them for year in, year out, so perhaps now they can finally get over the hump.
I think they can. I think they can.
And while I have been hating on Wisconsin, we talked about the Badgers earlier. You can't throw a lot of shade to a good sports culture, and a team that has a great sports culture, in baseball is, the Cardinals. They keep doing, especially when Pujols went out, they keep going. Right back in the thick of things at the end of last year. So how could I not pick them? And then, sure, I'll drink the Kool-Aid with the Nationals. It's cool.
Can't believe you actually pick the Cardinals, but
Yes.
I know it pains me. Chicago through and through. Cubs, obviously. I mean, we know how that story goes. But
yeah, they're having restroom issues down in Wrigley Field right now as we speak. We'll touch on that a little bit later.
They're also having third baseman issues. Another storyline to watch out for.
Yeah, but Shed, I know you gonna pick your Cardinals, but who do you have in the AL?
Thank you for the encouragement, my brother. Of course, we got the Cardinals, man. We always in it. We got Hayward now. We got the team that's still together. We always gonna be in it, and I feel like this is our year. Once again, we're gonna be in the World Series. But I want to see the Angels. I mean, everybody's been talking about this team. They got all these superstars, Pujols, Mike Trout, Josh Hamilton. I want them to really pull it together and take a long run. I'm a big fan of Mike Trout and just the way that he plays, on defense, on offense. He's like a complete player. Kind of reminds me of a younger Ken Griffey as far as the impact that he had on the team. So I would love to see him make it to the World Series against my Cardinals. Obviously, I want those Cardinals to win, and I think we will, but I think that would be a good matchup in the end. So we'll see how the season plays out.
I really do not like the St. Louis Cardinals. I really despise the Cardinals and everything that they stand
As
for.
much as I despise the Badgers, right?
More so.
You gotta
more
take
so
your
than that.
emotion out of it, Marv. I learned the hard way. Don't learn the hard way. Just take your emotion out of it.
Oh, I'm not going to bet against the Cardinals. I'm not
Okay.
foolish. I don't like them. I'm not going to bet against them, but I mean, it is what it is. But I definitely agree with him with Trout, though. Trout is definitely that complete player, that all-star.
Absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
new face of Major League Baseball.
And worthy of it. Worthy of it as well.
Definitely worthy of it. But I know Shed wants to talk a little bit about the NBA. Let's kick it back over to him. Shed, what you got over there in the Western Conference?
They got a new face too.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the playoffs are beginning to come in a couple weeks. In the West, they're shaping to be a nice little battle for that eighth spot. Obviously, we talked about Kevin Durant not being with the Thunder for the remainder of the year. They just have Westbrook to kind of lead the reins. But they're still fighting for that position with Anthony Davis and the Pelicans really kind of coming close upon that. With about a couple weeks left in the season, and it's really interesting for us to kind of think about, whether or not which one of those teams are more compelling matchup for the Warriors. Obviously, in my mind, I think I will still go with Oklahoma City just because of the impact of Russell Westbrook and the threat of him going off for a 40, 10, and 11 type of game, getting his teammates involved, and really just dominating full
He said
force.
getting his teammates involved.
I feel a little skeptical about the Pelicans just for the simple fact that I don't know about Drew Holiday and if he's coming back in time for them to actually have another type of person that can score on that team. Anthony Davis has been doing a lot, carrying the load for this team. But you see he's been getting nicked up a couple of times. I don't know if that shoulder's going to come. People are going to be really physical in the playoffs. This is their first year. And I really just don't think that team is ready. I'll give them a couple years and they really be a threat after they build some more pieces around him. But I don't think that they're that much of a threat, especially to the Warriors at this point. But the Thunder, they have still an opportunity with Russell Westbrook. I mean, they've been in the playoffs. They've been to the finals. They have that experience that the Pelicans don't. So in my eyes, that gives them more of a fighting chance once they get to the playoffs. But guys, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, we would love to see AD do his thing with the Pelicans, but youth does not win championships. We saw this with LeBron and the Spurs back in 2007 when he brought them, and what they do, they got swept. You look at teams like the Timberwolves, all the young players. 76 is just a revolving door. If you just stepped off a college campus, come play for us, please. It's not going to get it done.
It's more than that. It's more like an NBDL team. But
Westbrook and the Thunder, along with Durant, mind you, were in the finals a few years back, and they were young. So I mean, Westbrook has more going for him. AD doesn't have the help. Would love to see him in the playoffs, but I mean, he's just going to get beat down by Curry and the Warriors anyway. So I think the Thunder will put up more of a battle.
You know, it doesn't really matter because whoever the Warriors play anyway, they're probably going to beat them in 4 or 5 games with Splash Brothers. But give me Anthony Davis. We already know what Westbrook is going to do. He's going to put up 45, 10, 15, shoot 5 for 49 from the field.
And the rest of the team's going to put up?
And the rest of the team's probably going to put up like 20 and 30 points. But Westbrook is still going to be able to shoot, 10% from the field because that's what Westbrook normally does. But I want to see a playoff-bound Anthony Davis. I want to see him unleash against somebody like Draymond Green or Maurice Space or Andrew Bogut that's going to try to hold him down on the block and try to see if they can keep up with someone like him. I want to see Anthony Davis put up 15, 20 with 5 blocks, which maybe he won't put up that, but maybe 30 and 15 with like 5 blocks and average that.
Yet another reason why it doesn't really matter because we talk about the Thunder and Pelicans, we're talking about one player.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not enough around them.
Yeah, not enough
Westbrook's
around
got
them.
more going on.
You would think that, Eric Gordon, we thought that he was going to be a superstar in the league. Drew Holiday is currently hurt, but they do have one thing that the Thunder don't have. They do have a player on their roster that does have championship experience. Now, granted, he's coming off the bench, but Norris Cole does have 2 rings down from Miami Heat, who was traded to the Pelicans. But it could bring championship, it could bring playoff experience to a team that is lacking playoff experience too as well. So, I want to see AD, man. Give me some more AD. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see Westbrook he's gonna go coast to coast. We already know what he's going to do, but. No, give me AD. Let me see more of that. Let me see more of the brow. I want to see more of the brow.
Talking about more AD, the league has moved to more TEs, tight ends, doing their thing in the league right now, but one tight end who was ascending abruptly stopped. We're talking Aaron Hernandez. The trial for the murder of Odin Lloyd about wrapped up here. I mean, your thoughts on what's going on in the trial so far, Marvin?
I mean, it's an interesting situation, interesting scenario. A couple of days ago, or about a week ago, his girlfriend or ex-fiance, or I don't know what she is now, Miss Jenkins was on the stand and she was talking about how she couldn't remember where she placed the black box, which might have contained the murder weapon too. So when she was giving her testimony and everything, it was just interesting to hear the reports and seeing the evidence mount up against them. But if I was a betting man, I think that they do not have enough to convict him based upon they don't really have a murder weapon. They don't have an exact time and place where the murder took place. And I think there's a lot of evidence that is circumstantial, that is not 100% guilty, I don't know. It's interesting, but I would probably say 60-40 not guilty. Not to say that he's innocent. I just think the not guilty vote would come out.
I mean, when you discuss, the struggle to pull the jury in your favor, the burden of proof lies on, the prosecution. They have to prove without a shadow of a doubt. In these 9 weeks of this trial, they've made 131 calls to witnesses trying to get things lined up. According to Deadspin, the defensive has only made 3 calls, and they had 3 witnesses. One of the biggest pieces of info, you mentioned the .45 caliber, the shell casing in the car was attached to what? A piece of Bubblicious bubblegum, the blue Bubblicious bubblegum that we can't get over. And where is the area of doubt, the shadow of doubt is whether or not, it's the gum being attached to it that had, Hernandez's DNA on it. So, did he really own it? Again, it has to be without a shadow of a doubt, and the burden is on the prosecution there. But it's
so. Let me ask you this question, Ty. If he is not guilty, do you think another NFL team would take a chance on Aaron Hernandez if he walks, compared to, let's say, if he is guilty and serves, let's say he serves 5 years and comes back?
When we talk about second chances, we especially in the league, Vic, and Animals, soon to be Adrian Peterson. Abruptly with Greg Hardy and the Cowboys, but when we're talking about a man's life, I believe that's a different story. If he is found guilty, and I don't believe there will be a second chance, nor do I believe that he would deserve a second chance if he is proven to be guilty.
But you also got to remember someone like Dante Stallworth who killed a man on the beach and he got his second chance. Now, the evidence now it was it's a little bit different. It wasn't murder, but it was still I believe vehicular manslaughter or something along those lines.
Yes. You're right.
But he did end up killing somebody on the beach in his car, being reckless, and he got a second chance. So, I know it's different circumstances, but I don't know.
But if you're talking about a trigger man who, thought all this through, especially with all the details, the timelines that they released, who destroyed his home security surveillance system, I mean, what would you say?
I think it's interesting. I think that if Hernandez would have came out and said, I made a mistake and I killed him and served his time already, I think that the NFL would be more generous of giving him another chance. But now that he's going through the trial and public perception is that he did kill Odin Lloyd and gets away, I think that he does not get another chance in the NFL, if that makes any sense. It does. But it's an interesting dynamic that's happening. It's definitely precedent since the white Bronco going down LA back in the 1990s. So
one way or another, it looks like it all worked out for the Patriots.
Definitely so. But let's go to our social media roast. Who's being put on blast real soon?
They should have never gave y'all internet.
Social media roasting time.
Now, this right here should be illegal.
But it is what it is. It's Steph Curry taking out ankles, ACLs, and lower extremities.
Yeah.
Steph Curry with the shot. Steph Curry with the rock. Boy, not my train. CP, no.
Steph Curry with the joints.
Yeah.
Good joints. Look at the joints right there.
Steph Curry just with everything, man. He taking out souls.
Fatality.
Man. Oh, that's messed up.
And our favorite person returns once again. I see what happened.
Another cameo.
Lance with another cameo, blowing people out the way and everything,
say,
man.
Chris Paul, man. Just give it up.
Oh, I like this. Especially, people sleep on You Got Served, which was an amazing, amazing movie.
No, it wasn't.
He's about to do the double kick, though. Don't it look like it?
He's going to do something. He's about to go down. CP.
For real.
Sonny sold us out.
Sonny sold us out. But CP going against my main dude Jax over here with the sweep, with the low kick, with the low kick. You know how everybody likes to get the low kick for the victory.
Yep. Kick him in the balls or something like that, right? Wait. I don't understand how people make these, though, man. This is just crazy to me.
I told you they should never give him internet. They fast out there. This.
Oh, man, this is the best one, right?
This is my favorite. This is perfect.
For real.
Oh, snap.
Like Chris Paul doing the cha-cha.
Y'all see how Chris Paul came out the night after with like 41 points trying to make us forget.
Yep.
But you have to give it to him, though. But for him to get embarrassed like that.
You can't forget this, brother.
The damage is done.
The damage is done, but Damian Lillard had to reap the consequences of that, though.
Don't forget Boozer. Went through Boozer's legs.
Oh, yeah, he did go through Bruiser's legs.
Oh, look at this flick of the wrist. Look at that flick of the wrist.
That's so bogus.
Go ahead, CP.
That's so bogus.
Oh,
that's so bogus. Hit him with, and he did it better than Odell Beckham.
Hey, Marv, moving on. I know you like this dude, Steve. You had money on Wisconsin. Maybe Jersey had money on Wisconsin as well.
Why am I not surprised? I'm surprised that he didn't start off with someone like a Georgia State uniform, then move to somebody like who won in the next round, like a Baylor.
As long as the disclaimer is out that this is prior to the championship game.
Prior to the national championship game.
This just fits what I've been talking about Drake.
Man, I'm surprised.
Last time I vented about that, just like this guy, he jumps on everybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
And here's 2 minutes left in the championship game.
Yeah. You know what really happened in that Kentucky game? There was a substitution. and they substitute Drake in for a couple of those last three-point shots.
Okay.
And you see what happened
That's
right
what
there.
happened. Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned Kentucky. Oh, little tweak. Photoshop. This is real life Photoshop right here.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by this at all.
People need to leave my
He
man.
kind of look like a Dookie, though. Look at him. He look like he could be a part of that
He
team.
qualifies. Light skin.
Yeah, he's the next line of one of those Dukes to be hated. Behind JJ, behind
Well, they got J.
Greg
Cole on the
Paulson,
team. It'd be fitting to have Drake, right?
People, man, J. Cole he is a Tar Heel. They got this man.
Hey, but he just switched sides, man. He been balling on with the Dookies, though.
Cold World. Speaking of Cold World,
Yeah.
Frank.
I know they got my man Frank the Tank messed up,
Man, forget that guy.
Forget
They got my
that-
man Michael messed up.
Oh yeah, whatever.
They put a black face on Frank.
But you know what? This is the real reason why they really lost
Oh.
right here. That's why.
Romo.
I knew that's the real reason. They was up by 9 and they choked down the stretch.
Man.
This is the real reason they lost right here.
man.
Talk about Drake.
Choke.
He's an avid Duke fan. I mean,
Choking. I'm surprised Justin Bieber wasn't in that picture, too.
thank goodness I've had enough of that. After
yeah,
that
don't
roast,
worry,
he better
he-
keep himself hidden.
I haven't seen it, but he'll be on the money team come May 2nd.
Oh, can't let it go
Money
without
can't buy happiness.
Jeopardy Sports. I love Jeopardy Sports. Great Twitter account. Whoever's out there, thank you, Jeopardy Sports.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but
Kentucky can do it.
yeah,
They'll be back.
Kentucky can.
One submission for this week's Wii Sports question. Your thoughts on what Andrew Harrison said about Frank Kaminsky at the post-game press conference after Kentucky wound up 39-1?
I thought he thought he was going to get away with it, and everybody told him that the mics were very sensitive at that. You know, he just kind of whispered underneath his breath like, like, what did you say? What did you say? Oh, but raw emotion after the game. I really can't say too much more about that. Am I surprised? No. I mean, the former athlete here on the set, I know Steven said a whole bunch worse.
So much trash.
Much worse than what he
I have
said.
experienced that. Well, actually, I have not said anything that crazy in an interview, so somebody
you have a
can catch
filter.
me. But you got feelings, you mad, and then they want to talk about the player that just whooped on you that game and you lost your streak. You just like, man, I don't want to hear about that. Forget that dude. But you can still got to watch what you say. With that microphone, it's real sensitive, man. Pick up all them words. But to me, man, I thought it was hilarious just watching it because,
you did.
of course, this is against Kaminsky. It's Wisconsin. And I feel like I wouldn't say the word that he said, but I'll be like, you know, beep the Badgers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel. Like,
Buck the Fadgers.
yeah, buck the Fadgers, pretty much. That's how I feel anyway.
That's
So,
the
level-
filter. That's
The level of disrespect has reached ultimate proportions. on
hey,
the
no,
show.
we get great culture. Way to get there. We've all been there, man. If you beat me in the game of Madden, I'm not gonna give you props. I'm gonna talk about you. And I'm gonna talk about you to my boys, and I'm gonna call you what he called you. I just won't call you that in that setting. Location, time and place.
Yeah, I guess that's it right there.
Great question. Don't forget,
Exactly.
if you have a question, submit it one of our ways using the hashtag WeSports. And I mean, before we wrap up, you also cannot forget to like the video, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to that there YouTube channel.
Exactly. So for my man Shed over there in Shed's block,
hey, you notice like me and Ty got on blue, just kind of representing Duke.
This is North Carolina in
that's
general.
kind of
You
North
can- you know,
Carolina-ish, but
If you were North Carolina,
whatever,
if you're a Tar Heel, who do you
blue is
root
blue.
for?
Wisconsin. That was easy.
But they eliminated Wisconsin.
But the level, that's
Nobody
like,
roots for Wisconsin.
yeah, well,
Disclaimer right there.
I guess, you know, for me and my winnings and my earnings that I picked up
Oh,
on
Lord.
today's tab. And for Mr. Taiwo Sosina, signing off. Bet against the Badgers if you want to, and you come up good. You come up with green.
Man, whatever. Buck the Fadgers, man!
You had to bring it back out, huh?
I sure did.
Ride with Phirst Contention, that's full throttle in. We sport on deals, on court, on fields. The victors, the vengeance, the legends, latest invention. Phirst Contention. We sport on deals, on court, Contention. Game face grit, like born for playoffs. Say it all in small time like payoff.